Right then, let's waste no time and get straight into it. Hey, what's happening, friends? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you lot are all doing well today, my friends. I really do hope that, and the likelihood is you are, and you will be for such a long time, as the Blues reign supreme over the entirety of Start again! Over the whole of Europe! Lovely scenes, all the Chelsea players are going away on international duty, talking about how they've held up big ears, excited to return to Stamford Bridge, and we can expect some new additions. In today's Chelsea news video, I'm going to be talking about Eden Hazard's public response to the Chelsea rumours, what he had to say, and go into a Football.London article as Chelsea close in on Romelu Lukaku. How much is he going to cost? Is it likely? Etc. Consider subscribing to this channel for daily news updates regarding Chelsea Football Club throughout the summer. Make sure that bell notification icon is pressed so you can be the first to learn of breaking Chelsea news. Consider dropping a like, and if you want to follow my coverage of the Euros throughout the summer, do subscribe to my sister channel, Football Yannick. You can achieve that by clicking the link down in the description below. Alright then, sweet, let's get into it and start with the Eden Hazard story. Romance and sentimentality, but perhaps Chelsea had the opportunity to get back them arguably greatest player in terms of talent, not greatest player in terms of what he achieved at Chelsea. For me, that remains Frank Lampard, but I do concede to the idea of Hazard being the most naturally gifted player Chelsea have ever had. Never reached the heights he could have done though, purely down to, I think, his mentality of just wanting to enjoy life, play football for fun, and then, enjoy the time with his young family. I think to be a complete elite footballer like Messi, Ronaldo, there needs to be some kind of craziness to you. Anyway, I'm digressing here. Hazard had been linked back to Chelsea Football Club for a low fee, and you can kind of understand the story because he's been really bad for Real Madrid and he's had dismal injury records, and it's been a pretty rough time, especially considering his relationship with the fans. And if they wanted to move on, and now Zidane's gone, who obviously loved Hazard, there was this potential idea that maybe they'd try and get him back to Chelsea to alleviate themselves of the massive wages, and he'd go for quite cheap. Possibly. I reported on the rumour here about a £40 million transfer, and although yes, he's got injuries, yes, he's been poor, the truth is, it's a 30-year-old Eden Hazard. We sold him at 28 going on 29, and he was amazing for us under Sarri in that season. So you could understand that, look, even if he doesn't start, training Christian Pulisic, coming on, being the difference maker, and yes, there's a certain sentimentality of having Eden Hazard back at the Bridge. Maybe, I thought, personally, he might experience this sensation of muscle memory kicking back in when he came back to home. That's right, he still calls Stamford Bridge home, and certainly he did to Belgian journalist Christophe Touré. So, there you go. Call me romantic. I saw a lot of positives in what could be a really cheap deal, and Chelsea ultimately could have loaned Hazard to Real Madrid for 2 seasons for £90 million, and he performed poorly against us in the Champions League that we went on to win. Anyway, truth is, he's come out and said some very diplomatic things of waving away those rumours. I'm going to read you a quote now from the Express to hear what Eden Hazard had to say about this. Quote, "I still have 3 years contract with Real Madrid, so going back to England is out of the question," he said. Oh. Everyone knows that my first 2 years were not good, so first I want to prove myself at Real Madrid. I will do everything to do that. He did say he might return back to Chelsea one day. I don't know what he meant by that. Like, as a player, that's probably... Maybe he thinks he could do what Didier Drogba did. Can come back in his 30s for a season and just to be home, do you know what I mean? Maybe he wants to just have a good season or two at Real Madrid and then come back and just mooch around Cobham because he's still got a house there. Maybe. Anyway, let's see what else he said. "I certainly do not see myself leaving Real Madrid given the contract situation. I know myself and I know when I'm in shape, if that's the case, I can give all for Real Madrid next season. That's my plan. If I'm in shape, don't chow down burgers." Truth is, he's off to the Euros and he's going to play with Belgium, so if he, gets in shape over the summer, maybe find some form for Belgium. That's the thing, isn't it? If Eden Hazard tears it up for Belgium and puts in man of the match performances, like we've seen him do before for Belgium, remember, he is captain of Belgium, and I think they're still the #1 ranked team internationally, and he's captain of that team. Real Madrid fans might watch him and go, "Ooh, Eden Hazard, He's our number 7. Come home, do that at the, at the Bernabeu. Anyway, it could happen. Let's move on from Hazard. I'll try and put a pin in my sentimentality for you guys who think I'm being overly romantic. We've got an excellent squad. Let's move on and talk about another Belgium who's slightly younger and definitely in finer form in the shape of Romelu Lukaku. That's right, Lukaku has just won the MVP award in Serie A. All my days, Cristiano Ronaldo will be fuming. Loads of goals, loads of assists, excellent play, and a Scudetto to boot. Excellent from Romelu Lukaku this season. He was excellent last season. It's common consensus that since he's actually gone away in Italy, he's raised his profile. Of course, in England, he was seen as an elite striker because he scored a lot of goals consistently throughout different teams. But now he's gone away, he's won a league title, and he said it himself, he's ascended his game. He's a better footballer now under Antonio Conte. He's a highly desirable player. And although Inter Milan had to pay £75 million for him, and although his value should have increased because he's their most valuable asset, and all he's done since going there is scoring loads of goals and win them the title with Conte, there are certain rumours and statements and articles that he might actually be sold for less than what he was purchased for. Ooh, I'm going to be citing an article from football.london. I'll take you through that, give you the information and give you my thoughts on each piece. Let's have a little read. A big summer of transfer activity lies ahead at Stamford Bridge. After successfully guiding the club to their first trophy of his stewardship on Saturday evening, beating Manchester City 1-0 in the Champions League final, Chelsea head coach Thomas Tuchel has grand ambitions to take Chelsea to the next level, starting as soon as possible. That's great, I love that from Tuchel. As soon as he came out, he's just won the Champions League, a trophy that's eluded him. Well, not that he's been at the top level for that long. And he says, it's great, but now we move. Close their gap on City, domestic dominance. The guy's out here for blood, and I like that. I think not only did the Chelsea board say to him, this is what you got to be down with, man. This is what we're out here for. He was like, yeah, this is what I'm out here for. So it seems like a marriage of convenience at the moment. Tuchel and Chelsea want domination. Having arrived at the club towards the end of January, Tuchel did not have time or the resources to put his own stamp or authority on the squad he inherited from his predecessor, Frank Lampard. But with the German poised to sign a new long-term deal at Stamford Bridge, as well as taking into account the success he has enjoyed at the club in such a short space of time already, it's only natural he would wish to bring his own players in and strengthen where he's already talented. Yeah, this is important because he did say originally, look man, this is a wicked squad, I love this squad, and it is a wicked squad, but it's still imbalanced. It was inherently imbalanced just from the players that's there. Lampard probably, well, he's not an elite coach, so couldn't, see what's best to do at the moment, but Tuchel, although only weeks ago he was saying, if I have to keep this squad, I'm happy. But now he's finished in the top 4, and now he's won the ruddy Champions League, the biggest prize there is. He's sort of coming out saying, yeah, a couple of players, maybe 3. Earlier this week, it was reported that Tuchel would like to bring in 3 new signings this summer. A right-sided defender, a central midfielder, and a striker being prioritised. Especially the latter, with scoring goals on a regular basis being a problem for Chelsea's goal-getters. In recent weeks and months, the club has been linked with an array of big-name strikers, including Tottenham Hotspur and England star Harry Kane, and Erling Haaland of Borussia Dortmund. However, the option that may seem the most suitable is Inter Milan ace Romelu Lukaku. Yeah, we know that Dortmund getting into the top 4 has ruled out a sale for Erling Haaland this summer, almost certainly, not 100%, but almost certainly. And Kane is a pipe dream. I mean, he might like the idea of Chelsea, but I'm not sure he'd do it to the Tottenham fans, and certainly Daniel Levy won't sell to Chelsea because of their history with Willian and Modric and etc. I've reported on this previous stories, go back and watch the videos. Anyway, let's read on. The Belgian has been closely linked with a Stamford Bridge return in recent weeks, despite having struggled for opportunities to impress in his first spell at the club between 2012 and 2014. However, despite the reports in Italy claiming Inter would not entertain any offers for the striker this summer, Chelsea have made their move. Ooh, Marina Granovskaya. Yeah, man. According to a report by EUROSPORT, as cited by the Daily Star, they say Chelsea have made contact with Lukaku's agent and are in discussion about what type of offer could convince the Belgian international to seal a shock return to West London. Lukaku, who notched 24 goals in Serie A this season, is considered Inter's star asset, meaning it would take a big money bid to allow him to leave, even though their stance on his future is clear, he's not for sale, but that stance, as often proven in football, can be quickly changed if an offer is made. Yeah, and the truth is, it's no secret Inter are in financial trouble. That's why Conte left, because they have to sell players. They can say, oh, Lukaku's not for sale, we don't need money. But no, we know you need money. Your coach who's just won you the Scudetto has left because he knows you're not only not going to buy, but you have to sell. Don't play that with us. The likelihood is that Lukaku would cost somewhere in the region of 60 million to 80 million pounds, which is considerably cheaper of what Kane or Haaland would cost. Haaland would almost certainly cost 150 million, while it's unlikely that Spurs would even entertain the idea of selling Kane to a local rival. And of course, we know with Erling Haaland, next season his buyout clause is triggered and it's like 60 million or 66 million, something ridiculously low, and that's going to be an absolute slugfest. Everyone's going to be fighting to try and sign him. Bayern Munich oddly seem confident if it goes to next summer that they convince him to go and replace Lewandowski. And maybe what happened, a boring conclusion, well, a boring next chapter to Haaland's story going to Bayern Munich. But whatever, we've seen it before so many times. Lukaku, I like it. He is a Chelsea boy in many ways. He says he's got love for Chelsea. He, was dreamt of playing at Stamford Bridge. It's a nice story. He's proven it in the Premier League. Something a bit different up front. Like, he's big and strong, but he's still quite mobile. Relatively selfless. He got like over double figures in assists this season, as well as loads of goals. And he's got a strong mentality. I think he has something to prove to not only Chelsea, who he wasn't really given a chance there at, but also like Man United as well, because they really pushed them out. Well, certainly Solskjaer's regime pushed them out because they wanted Martial down the middle, I think. Didn't turn out so well. Obviously, they've got Cavani now. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on these two stories, Hazard's, more importantly, Romelu Lukaku. Comment down below, like the video if you've enjoyed the content. Consider subscribing to Football Yannick for more content. You might dig it, my friends. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me today. Enjoy the football when it's on, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.